Wendy Davis became a familiar name last year when she stood in her pink tennis shoes for 11 hours to defeat a Texas abortion bill. Even though the bill eventually passed, Davis became a star, and her story, her personal story, resonated across this country. Everybody says Wendy Davis is an overnight sensation. Does it irritate you that people call you an overnight sensation?
I'm not an overnight sensation. I'm a Texan, and I'm a Texas success story. I am the epitome of hard work and optimism.
Wendy Davis was catapulted into the spotlight last June when her filibuster caught the nation's attention.
The Capitol literally felt like it was alive that day.
All right, there you go. Maria Shriver with a puff piece on Wendy Davis, and she's not alone. All the networks have been doing it lately, and joining us right now is Michael Barone, senior political analyst for the Washington Examiner. Hi, Michael.
Hey, Steve. How you doing?
Good. Good to talk to you. We're going to talk about two issues, two pieces that you wrote. One is about the millennials unhappy with Barack Obama's war on the young. But let's talk about Wendy Davis now. Your column, which asked if Politico was telling the full story about Wendy Davis. And, you know, it turns out that Wendy Davis fudged under oath, lied about how old she was when she had a divorce. Lots of inconsistencies and inaccuracies in her biography. I mean, did they tell us the whole story or not?
Well, they didn't tell us the whole story, and the piece by Wayne Slater in the Political Reporter in the Dallas Morning News on Saturday, January 18th, brought forward a lot of the details that Wendy Davis didn't care to share with the voters. And keep in mind that one of the things that she's been emphasizing in her candidacy is that, you know, she brought herself up by the bootstraps. She had a tough early life and managed to go to Harvard Law School and put herself through school and all that. Well, it turns out, as you noted, she testified inaccurately in federal court even on what year she got divorced on. I suppose you could say, you know, she was talking about initiating the divorce, which she did at age 19, but it was not granted until age 21. She neglected to say that her second husband cashed in his 401k, took out a loan, and paid for her to go to Harvard Law School while she left the kids, one from her first marriage and one from theirs, with him. And then the day after he paid off the loan, she walked out, and he got child custody. And there was also a judicial order entered in saying that when she saw the kids, she was not to have alcohol or drugs within 24 hours previous to that.
Wow.
Those are not attractive biographical details. You know, you could say many candidates have unattractive biographical details. They haven't made their biography the centerpiece of their candidacy, and this is a significant candidacy.
Oh, absolutely.
Texas, the second largest state. It's got 38 electoral votes. It's been safe Republican now for the last 20 years, but a lot of rich Democrats want to spend money to turn Texas blue. They look at the higher rising percentage of Hispanics there and say, hey, maybe we can win this state. Wendy Davis's candidacy has been something they've been backing. She's raised $12 million.
Yeah.
And a lot of enthusiasm about her stand against this abortion law that banned abortion after 20 weeks. Of course, kids are viable.
Absolutely. And you bring up a great point in your piece that, you know, if every aspect of Chris Christie's existence is open for investigation and discussion, then certainly the same should be true from a media standpoint about Wendy Davis.
Well, I zeroed in on Politico, which still hasn't run a story on some of the juicy details revealed in the Wayne Slater Dallas Morning News piece. And you might get the impression they want to help Davis.
No, yeah, well, but she said she accused Greg Abbott, the Attorney General of Texas, who's running as the Republican against her, of giving that information and whatever. And they say they never talked to him. Plus, she said something from what I've read, if I'm not mistaken, that Greg Abbott will never walk in her shoes. Of course. That's right out of Joe Biden's playbook almost. He's a paraplegic. He's confined to a wheelchair.
Yeah, Yeah, they launched the Davis campaign said this was a Greg Abbott attack and all this stuff. The fact is that Slater, who is not identified as a movement conservative by anybody that I know of, said that he did not contact Abbott or any of his people in preparing this piece. He did research on his own and with other sources. They're trying to say that Abbott, rather than the Dallas Morning News, published this piece. Well, it was the Dallas Morning News.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And the whole statement about not walking in his shoes and things like that. I mean, this is Greg Abbott was paralyzed in an accident at age 26.
Yeah, a tree fell on him. Yeah,
fell on him. He's in a wheelchair, as anybody in Texas is aware. He's been very active. He has just as Wendy Davis has overcome some difficulties in her life, and with some assistance from other people, he's overcome some difficulties in his life as well.
I would say so. Now, you're always the go-to guy when it comes to what part of what congressional district is going to go which direction. So do you have a read? I know money speaks, and I know we're a long way off, and Wendy Davis has a lot. But is there a real possibility that Wendy Davis, could sit in that governor's mansion one day?
Well, I think the chances were against her even before this Dallas Morning News story. I mean, Texas is a basically Republican state. Rick Perry was reelected easily with 56% of the vote in the last election, which is also what Mitt Romney carried the state by. So she was not the favorite, but she was a national icon, and she was of significant importance to Democrats in their effort to make the second largest state not a safe Republican state. It's by far the largest safe Republican state in presidential elections, but to turn it around. And it seems that some damage has been done to that. So I rate her chances as very low at this point.
Well, Michael, we're good.
Greg Abbott has strong credentials.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and he led the charge against Obamacare for the states. Listen, we're going to have to save the millennials for the next time, but I thank you as always, sir. Senior political analyst for the Washington Examiner, Michael Barone, the one and the only. When we come back, are conservatives trying to stifle debate on race? Steve Malzberg's show. Don't go away.
The Steve